Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and it's the day after the 2018 Tarawera Ultramarathon. I'm with Sam McCutcheon, who finished third for the second year in a row. Congratulations!
Yeah, thanks, Megan.
So we've just had the award ceremony. You got to stand on the stage and talk for the second year in a row. How's it feeling to round up on the podium at a race like this 2 times?
Yeah, it's cool. It makes it feel like the first one wasn't a fluke. A little bit justified being there a couple of times, and also it's it sort of shows that going in the right direction. I'm not going backwards, but still a couple of people in front of me to aim for.
Speaking of going different directions, yesterday's course seemed to be like the antithesis of the year prior. Not only did you go the other direction, but the conditions couldn't have been more opposite.
Yeah, it was a lot tougher than I was expecting. I think a lot tougher than everyone was expecting. And yeah, it's just another experience. It's completely different. They're completely different races.
How'd you feel? You said in your interview with us before the race that you thought you were coming in a little fresh and slightly less prepared than you would have liked to be because you just got married.
Yeah. I think very fresh is where we concluded. And I think the freshness started to feel about the 50k mark. It turned out better than I expected in terms of the fitness held through, but the legs definitely weren't as fresh, and I wasn't sort of able to push the pace to try and catch up to Cody and Dylan as much as I would have liked. But still overall pretty happy. So
I have to also ask about that hot, early race pace. I think you guys were on something like 2:52, 2:53 marathon pace, at least through the 41k aid station where, flat-ish forestry roads before that, and then onto the technical stuff. You guys were flying.
Yeah, that wasn't my preference, but when you've got Vlad and Cody and then Dylan's in the mix, it's sort of just it was sort of right on the edge of comfortable, so we all just kind of went with it. And the roads are pretty forgiving at the start. They're all very runnable, and so everyone just kind of pushed each other. But I think we all sort of paid at some stage during the race a little bit for that pace. But it was a good experience.
So I wrote some splits down for the men's race ahead of time, and I feel like for the first 40k you guys were ahead of those splits, and then right after that you started being behind. But that also coincided with when the trails got really mucky and murky. Can you talk about what the conditions were actually like out there?
Yeah, there was a bit more water. It was drizzling all day, but there was actually quite a volume of water coming through the trails. And it also didn't help that there was 87 and 62k runners sort of, progressively in front of us.
Sure.
And so I think the combination of all that and the fact that the forestry roads turned into single track with tree roots and rocks just made for an interesting day for everyone. And it was really, it turned into quite a technical race for the middle section.
The first 40k, it was really the 4 of you who were very close together. After that, between 40k and 55-ish k, things started to string out a little bit more. How did that feel like being in it? What was going on?
I wish I could have stuck in the mix for the whole 50, 60k. But bit of self-preservation, I would have been silly to try to keep it up. I knew I had to run that middle section within myself and get the hill out of Okataina. I had to be able to get up that before I could think about finishing. So I think that's an area I'd like to work to in the future. But it was just I ran my own race, and I'm not sure what happened with the front guys, whether they were battling each other or just self-destructing. I'm not sure.
So coming into the 80k aid station, 81k, you're about to make the loop around Blue Lake. You were just a couple minutes in third, second was just a couple minutes ahead of you. Did you know that? Did you start chasing, or were you just trying to survive there?
Very much survival.
Okay.
I did get told Cody was a couple of minutes in front of me, and he had a sort of a rough patch leading into the aid station, but he obviously got a bit of a pep talk, and he came out flying, and he put quite a few minutes on me over the last sort of 20k. But it was very much get to the end, and I thought if I got to Rotorua I could start rolling for the last little bit. But it's quite brutal over the last, from the Blue Lake up over the redwood forest.
So last year after this race, you went abroad a couple times. You raced Transvolcania and you raced the Maxi race in France. Do you have an idea of going to Europe or jumping off the islands of New Zealand this year too?
Yeah, I think I'll definitely jump over and probably to Europe. There's nothing set in stone though. I'm hoping New Zealand will send a team to the Trail World Champs, and if not, there'll be. I mean, there's so many good races these days. It's sort of choosing one where you get the level of competition that makes a trip to the other side of the world worthwhile.
Awesome. Well, you know, we also have another continent called North America, and we have some races there too.
Yeah, and I think I know apparently you guys just run really fast on those ones. So no, I think North America is sort of a build-up goal, and I think that'll be worth a trip in the future.
Someday,
definitely.
All right. Well, congratulations on your third place. Thanks for letting me come hang out on your island for the week.
Anytime, Megan. Cheers for the interview.
Yeah, we'll see you somewhere, maybe in Europe or North America someday.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so I realized as we've been standing here that the lenses on this camcorder are condensing up. It's been a big problem the last 2 days trying to cover this race.
From tropical New Zealand.
Yeah, thanks New Zealand. Well, we'll see you perhaps at the Trail World Championships, and if not, maybe somewhere else in Europe this summer.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Congratulations to you, Sam.
Cheers, Megan. Thanks. Cheers.